What's up, guys? Welcome to video 2 of the SaaS financial model training course. And the first video, we covered some of the basics of how formatting and the kind of general model structure is covered. If you haven't seen that, I know it's a bit boring and maybe I ramble too much, but I recommend watching it so that you can actually properly understand how things work in the model. Okay, it's important. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through how you should approach filling in one of my models, or this model. I have written a relatively long blog called How to Fill in a Financial Model Template, which is going to cover various concepts and potentially things in more detail than I'm going to do now. I'll put a link to that in both the YouTube and on the training link blog where you're probably watching this right now. And I recommend reading that in addition to listening to me right now. So if I had just downloaded this model, how would I approach actually filling this in? Okay. The first thing I would do is I go to the formatting sheet and I think about what my financial year is. Okay, so if the financial year is, say January, December, and we're currently in April, you have achieved 3 months of financials. So you would have January, February, and March. So let's say we're halfway through April. April is still a forecast. So you go here. What I do is always just type first of the month, just makes things simple, all right? So we type in 1st of Jan, 2019, because, oh shit, okay. Just type in 1 Jan 2019, so 1st of January. So we're currently in April, and so I would type 1st APR 2019, all good in the hood, okay? So if you see how this looks like the model, we'll see that the formatting for the actual sheet is January, February, March. And then the forecast starts in April. Now let's say we're more into it and we're now in, say June. Okay, so 1 June 2019. The actuals now has more months. Magically, the formatting has changed. And the forecast here says June, right? So that's the first thing you want to set up is like, where are we right now? And where are we right now? And what is your first month forecast? And so just do exactly what I taught you, okay? Next thing is, what is technically your end? Why this is important is the model figures out when you're going to pay bonus payments and when you're going to pay tax payments. So in financial statements, we will accrue the costs that you incur. So you'll accrue your tax, but you can pay it at the financial year end. Now, because this model is really complicated, I'm assuming that the time that you're going to be paying out your bonuses is also the time that you're paying out your tax, which is your financial year end. So what month is that? Okay, if it's June, it's 6. If it's December, it's 12, right? Just have the drop down here, 12, right? Or it's 6, June, whatever, okay? And then you'll see in the sheets, say forecast, when the month end happens, less annual bonus, okay? So we'll see that we said that it was in June, right? June, that is when the accrued annual bonus is going to be paid out. And then tax, I think, annual tax. Oh, we don't pay tax because we're just losing lots of money. So there's no tax payout. Sorry, government, screw you. Libertarianism. So yeah, so first thing I would do, set your months, right? Set your year end. You're probably using dollars. I recommend dollars. By the way, I have a blog about why you should use dollars, unless you're, say, German, in which case maybe use euro, but I don't care if you're in Asia or LATAM. The lingua franca of investment in startup land is dollars. Everyone understands it. If you're building a global or regional organization, it's just simpler. However, if you're like, Alex, I don't care. Cool. There are multiple ways, and I'm going to start doing this now. So let's say we want to make the, I don't know, like what's the current? Pounds, okay? Swap currency. If you get the Mac, it's going to take 20 seconds, which is why we're going to start talking right now. Hit that button, 20 seconds later, you'll see how long it takes right now. You want to change the whole model to pounds? Cool. There are something like 19 options which you can pick from. So euros, dollars, pounds, yen, krona, rupees, pesos, Swiss francs, like all that fun, crazy stuff. You can change the model to basically anything you want. And you can see already up here that I have also built a bunch of my useful functions to automatically change the colors, to transpose formulas, to add error messages, to niftily save versions of the file, all sorts of stuff. All right. The things which I actually use, I built macro to do all that, including changing currencies. So if you want it, it's something that you can buy. Shit ain't free in life, right? But suddenly, magically, the model will come up with this, and you'll see that everything is now in pounds somewhere. Yeah, pounds. Yay. Awesome, right? Don't do that. Everything's in pounds, right? So we're going to go Queen style for the rest of this video, because I'm not going to run the macro again. But anyway, everything in the model will change to the currency that you want. All right. So just because we're on this sheet, okay, whack in what your income tax rate is, or your corporation tax rate, whether or not in Ireland, 12.5, whatever it is, God knows in America now, especially if the socialists get in, who knows. Put in your income tax rate while you're there, okay? Now, not fun, but useful. The next thing I would do is I just whack in your actuals. So let's say we're 3 months into the year. You've got 3 months of actuals to put in, okay? I'm going to go through this in the actual training video, actual sheet training video, so I'll cover that in more detail. But, I'd fill on this stuff just because you have it, right? What I only really care about is customers and the MRR that you fundamentally have, because the current number is going to feed into the forecast sheets, because you're a SaaS business, right? The whole point is recurring income. And so for your forecast, you need to have those numbers adding into your forecast. So the first thing I would do, borrowing a note, just pull out your financial statements, go into your mix panel or whatever the hell analytics system that you're using, and get your numbers and just plop them into the actual sheet. Now, what would I do? Next thing I would probably do is I would go straight into the marketing section and start driving traffic, customers, users to your platform. What you want to think about is, what are your primary marketing activities? So let's say you don't do channel sales, you don't do blogging social, you don't do email, you just do paid and hope that people turn up to your website. So you can go here and I would just turn these sheets off. Social networks, turn it off, because I just don't want to worry about them anymore. You don't even have to remove assumptions off. So the only thing you're going to have in here are your organic and paid traffic. Okay, so organic, you're going to say, well, how many visitors are going to get already? How much are they going to grow a month? Optimistically, basically free traffic. And then how much you're going to spend across your channels, so SEM, display, Facebook, like whatever it is. Okay, what is the dollar you're going to spend on here? I would just delete all the stuff. I wouldn't care about it. It's just non-attributable marketing spend. That's refinement that you think about. You need to know how marketing works if you're going to use this, but I would talk to your marketing person or consultant, or go into your AdWords, etc., and assign your search volumes and stuff, and figure out what the CPCs are going to be for your business, and I put them in. If they're going to remain consistent, you would just do, one like this, remove, all right? I don't know, they're going to increase more in future, which is very likely. You just copy and paste the formatting and go like, I don't know, 250 pounds. Crazy numbers. Anyway, okay. And I would basically be driving traffic into your business. If you do email and blog and social, you turn this stuff back on and you put in your general assumptions, okay? And then you look at the marketing sheet and be like, okay, like, what is my relative traffic coming from? Holy crap, paid is too much, or blogging promotion is too much. We need to do less. And then, you can adjust those numbers. So it's paid organic. Then we go to the marketing sheet and you're like, okay, well, what are my conversion rates actually? 4%, 3.5%. You need to know what your conversion from your traffic to trials are, okay? So what basically happens is, across these 3 sheets, paid, organic, email, blog, and social, is they generate traffic. Sales generates trials, which filter differently, okay? Then the marketing sheet basically says when you get traffic, what percentage of those people are going to turn to trials? All right, so now we're generating trials. The next thing I would probably do is go into the conversion assumption sheet, read the guide, otherwise just skip it like now. And you want to do all the assumptions, right? So what percentage of automatically on board, or what's self-supported, or what percentage of people doing annual or monthly contracts, what avatars at basic, premium, pro customers, both for automatically onboarded and self-supported, do with the adoption curves, what percentage of people actually turn from trial to conversions, what your churn rates are, and then do the same thing for annual. Just normally have 12 months, but anyway, do that, okay? Because that is going to start generating customers. Now, the next thing you want to do is like, how much money are we going to make? So we're going to pricing, and you're going to pick your option of what you do, monthly or usage fee, monthly fee plus usage, whatever, right? So things change, right, when you change them. Let's say for simplicity purposes, our business model is a monthly fee, and that's something you kind of hopefully know. So I've grouped things up as we showed in the first video. So here we can see we charge £119 a month with a 20% discount for an annual price, which gets us to about £1,100. Don't really care about the API stuff. I would just frankly skip that, right? We charge whatever, 149 for the monthly fee for premium, 200 for pro. There we go. Now, once we have the number of customers times our pricing, we're generating revenue, okay? Now, all these calculations are going to happen, the monthly calcs and the annual calcs. Not getting into this stuff at all. Summary of this can be seen in here. So if you don't have to look at those two sheets, there's no assumptions in any of these. So we've got traffic, we generated trials, and now we calculated conversion, and those customers are now times by price are generating revenue. So now we want to be thinking about costs. But what I would probably do first before I think about my costs is my favorite sheet to go into is the KPI sheet. So I'll just go in here, ignore most of this stuff, and be like, okay, what are my bookings? How much MRR am I doing? Because I have done my marketing and my revenue calculations, I basically have my CAC LTVs, not for fully loaded, but at least for the basic version of that. And I can see what is my unloaded CAC LTV ratios look like. So my CAC LTV on these bases that's pretty good going forward. These are too high. Why is that? Probably because of expansion revenue or something. But you want to start calibrating some of these numbers already and going like, holy shit, these numbers are way too big. Like LTV of 9,000 in year 3 is way too much. And then you've done something wrong, right? So let's whack into costs, okay? The next thing I would do is go into the staff sheet. And you want to pick whether or not you want to do the basic version or the simple version. Simple version or the detailed version. I'm going to deal with the detailed version right now, just because that's the original G. Represent simple version, detailed version. Okay, so here we have all this fun. All right. I go to the detailed version. I'm like, okay, well, who are the people that we currently have? You put them in. Who are the people you're currently planning on hiring? What's the start date, end date, salary? No, end date's fine. You probably won't really use this, but whatever. Salary, if you pay them bonus. If you're going to increase the salary or not, let's say Series A, whatever that defined date is, or Series B or something. Assumptions around, say, recruiting. You do the same thing for R&D, S&M. We've got a lot of automations here, but we'll deal with those in other videos. And then put in the kind of the general costs you're putting. Like, don't be anal. I don't give a fuck about pencils and stuff, right? So office stationery, onboarding, travel. Onboarding's probably expensive. I don't know, like MacBooks, great. MacBooks, chairs and shit, like $4,000. And by the way, I don't know, in Series A, we'll start spending more money on LaCroix, great, right? It actually tastes like shit. I was in San Francisco the other week, and I honestly don't know what people are craving about it. But anyway, maybe whacking some general costs like rents and stuff. Like big cost line items, right? And so whack those in, and I would go back to my KPI sheet. I'd be like, ooh, what does my cost look like, right? What are my ratios and shit? So staff, all right, then probably bosh out some more of the costs. So are you sales supported, or customers like buffer, like you never talk to anyone? right? Like for onboarding. You can turn it on and off. If you don't want it, off, boom, suddenly no cost for salespeople. If it is, great. Okay. Put in your assumptions here. Do the same thing for support staff. Yeah, and then I would probably go into the expense calcs. What are most people are probably just using credit card, maybe PayPal, right? Put 0 in, 100% is credit card. Congratulations. It's like a monthly fee of $100. There's probably Stripe, which doesn't have a monthly fee. So you probably just got transaction costs. What approximately is that? Delete all the other shit if you don't need it. Tech costs. Make some basic assumptions about having emails and tech server costs. Otherwise, just delete them if they're not a big deal and come back to them kind of later. And then go back to the KPIs. Are things making sense? So we've covered most of our general expenses. I would then go to expansion revenue. If you're going to make more money from customers over time, how are you going to do that? So there are 2 ways of doing that. Module, seat-based. And you can also turn the sheet on and off, by the way, all right? So pick which version you're going to do, module or seat-based. That's your business model. If you don't understand this, you're kind of in trouble. So let's say you're doing module-based. You're going to launch new stuff over time, right? You can call it, I don't know, like chat roulette, dick pics. And then how much you can charge for it. And then when you release it. And then we make assumption of what percentage of people are going to adopt that over time. For all your plans. If you're doing seat-based, well, look, like how many people take it on, like how much you're charging for it, what percentage of people are going to do it, and then that basically immediately whacks in expansion revenue to your existing customer base. Some assumptions, the modeling could be done a little more complicated here, but honestly, the model already kind of crazy nuts. But anyway, I would whack in some assumptions about expansion revenue. Then I would totally be looking at my KPIs and maybe actually now charts. To look at the ratios between things and like, do they make sense or not? Then we have, you either have professional services, not kind of like enterprise, more businesses have them. You have your revenue costs, whack those in, or just turn the sheet off if you don't do them. What would I do next? Again, what I would keep doing is looking at my KPIs to making sure things make sense. But I would still be kind of doing things relatively ghetto, not like 100% perfect. And then just triangulating that things actually sort of make sense. So I did channel sales and these things, MR customer service, annual accounts, conversions, professional expansion cards, do. Okay, then what I would next do is I want to be thinking about my forecast in more detail. Go in the P&L forecast sheet and be like, all right, how much discounts and vouchers I do? I either do nothing or I do something. You should know what the number is. Do you have cancellations? Maybe you don't. Some people are dicks. However you want to deal with it. Otherwise, you don't have cancellations, but you know what those numbers are. Bad debt, credit card fraud, you either have it, you don't. You should know that number. Whack those in, and then put in when you're going to forecast. When you forecast, you're actually going to close around, how much you think you can do in order for cash flow management. Now, at that point, I missed a sheet, which you should have done right at the start. Annual assumptions is a new sheet. Sorry, forgive me. Totally fill in this bad boy. I would do this actually as the first thing you do after formatting and doing the P&L actuals. Next, go to this sheet. So if you are an existing business and you have a lot of annual contracts, then this schedule is important because those things hopefully are going to renew. Which point you need to know what those numbers are. So how many customers you have, how much contract value you're going to have, ARPAs and things like that, so that they are going to renew at the right point in the future. So you need to know what these numbers are, or you need to, if you calculate them in different ways, the ARPAs and stuff, you can manipulate the formulas to make it work for you, but you need to fill this stuff in so that in the future you're getting all these goodies, right? That they're going to renew. And these all filter into the annual sheet somewhere in the model, okay? But that I would definitely have done that at the start as well. Sorry, I forgot about it. You can look at the dashboard and stuff if you want, but frankly, I would just be looking at the KPIs. So then I would probably like check that all my actuals and stuff are actually right, check my annual assumption sheets are all right. And then I would probably go back to the marketing sheets and be like, am I being a basic bitch? Maybe my CAC is too high. Or the sources and things are coming from the wrong place. So I'm like, how can I hack my CAC? Well, I could just start getting more customers through emails or doing blogging shit and getting featured on TechCrunch and, getting like 500,000 views or something, which is suddenly going to drive like way tons of traffic to me, which will decrease my effective CAC, right? And then I would, maybe we'll do channel sales, start thinking about things in a little bit more detail. And then, refine my conversion assumptions. Are things making sense? Are they not? Package switching, could I be refining these things? Maybe my pricing could be a bit different, maybe different discounts. I don't know. Maybe we'll start doing professional services. I don't know. Maybe expansion revenue could be differently. And you're basically just getting a lot more anal about the sheets as you kind of go, like filling things in more detail. Or maybe you might go, I'll do the simple version just to fill out the model, just get it done, see that I've done something, and then go, okay, cool. Now I got to change it from, so like say you had it on the basic version before, and I'm going to now put in the work and fill out Alex's fucking spreadsheet and do the detailed version because it looks like I know more of what I'm doing. Boom. Okay. So what I'm trying to communicate is start with the big stuff and progressively improve it over time. So you can keep saying that you're getting results and you're getting closer to the core goals that you actually want to have, and keep on spending more time getting more refined, more logical about it, to the point where you know all your numbers and you know all logic about why you're doing what you're doing. And so some dick VC like me goes, hey Jim, so why are you doing something? You will go, well, Alex, let me tell you why. And you just know this shit. Okay. My models that I build are big, they're complicated, and I know my shit. You probably don't yet, but I swear to God, if you put in the time, you'll know more than probably your VC. Honest to God. So that's generally how I would do it. You can see I haven't have a defined plan for you. I just kind of said this off the cuff, but that's again kind of how you want to think about it. There's no perfect way of filling in a model. You don't necessarily go sheet by sheet, but what I really say is start doing it and try to get more refined over time. Start seeing the results, see that the model's working, get more familiar with the KPIs and how things are linking together, and then progressively put more time into it. So an example is I did a model for a client before who had an app, and he was like, everyone getting paid six figures, everyone's getting fucking huge bonuses. And then I was like, yeah, so David, you need $7 million or something. And he could only get say one. He was like, right, everyone's getting paid 40K, no one's getting bonuses. So all that detailed time that was spent filling in the assumptions went straight out the fucking window. Right? So that's why it's useful to just put in ballpark numbers at the start and get more refined as you go. All right, guys, next video, we will be doing the formatting sheet in detail to make sure you understand how to do it. We kind of already covered it, but I'm just going to make sure you understand it because a lot of people get confused. After that, we'll be getting to the P&L actual. So hit the next button, stick with me, and we'll delightfully be going through this awesome model for your viewing pleasure only, because the lady loves her dairy milk chocolate, or I don't know, some Cadbury's plug. Bye.